It was while studying these sequences on screen that I realized most viewers were missing the true key to Alex Pereira's devastating power. Did you see it there? If not, that's okay. I'll show you. To understand the terms I will be using in this video, we will have to look at a parallel from Major League Baseball. Basically, every modern sports analytics movement takes its lead from the baseball data revolution of the early 2000s, which was documented in the award-winning film and book Moneyball. But I am not here to sing the virtues of on-base percentage and slugging. No, we are going to talk about one of the most influential and least publicized revolutions in the sport, dating back to at least 2008 from my research: pitch tunneling. I have referenced the concept in past videos on Conor McGregor and Randy Costa, but I think it's time for a deep dive into the concept. Tunneling in baseball refers to the skill of releasing pitches with as small a difference in release point, arm angle, and setup as possible. With pitches routinely traveling in the 90s of miles per hour, any small tip-off of where a pitch is or is headed can make a massive difference. Developing your tunneling as a pitcher, thus, is the act of improving the consistency with which every pitch is thrown with uniform motion. A common example are two pitches called a fastball and the other the slider. A fastball is like the name suggests, a ball thrown as hard as possible that routinely travels in the mid-90s but can be thrown even as high as 107 miles per hour. Another pitch called the slider is meant to be a complement to the fastball. Both are thrown at comparable speeds, but the slider, unlike the fastball, will cut glove side horizontally, sometimes as much as 20 inches from release to catch. A pitcher that throws their fastball and slider with no noticeable difference is incredibly hard to hit because the batter has no idea if that rocket headed their way will continue straight or rip 20 inches horizontally at the last moment. Tunneling is essential at the highest level in order to eke out every ounce of advantage for pitchers. Tunneling is also incredibly valuable because it offsets a portion of the negative effects of a slower fastball. Not everyone can throw at 100 plus miles an hour, so an excellent tunneling pitcher with low 90 speed will regularly show up as superior to that of a pitcher with high speed but weak tunneling and setup pitch talent. So let's take this knowledge and return to our case study today, Alex Pereira. Now, Alex isn't a major league pitcher, of course. Instead, he is a power-punching middleweight phenom. So where is the correlation, you may ask? While researching for my main event breakdown, which you can find on our Patreon in the description, I realized I was having a tough time noticing patterns in the way Alex was setting up his punches. Generally, when I analyze fights, I try to figure out what strikes the fighter is most comfortable with. Then I try to notice what they do to set it up. Alex is the most difficult fighter I have studied in this regard to date. What dawned on me was that Alex was essentially the best punch tunneler I have seen in MMA. So let's play a little game. I'm going to show you the lead up to a single punch, and I want you to attempt to guess what is coming. I am going to show each in slow motion 3 times, and your job is to guess, just as Alex's opponent has to, albeit with more time on our part. Before that, let me show you the 6 main strikes that are your options: the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6. So odd numbers correspond to lead hand strikes. Conversely, even are rear hand. Okay, game time. Let's try it out. I will pause the screen for 3 seconds at 5 frames before the strike lands, which equates to 1/12 of a second if the UFC captures footage at 60 frames a second. First up. Next. And finally. Pretty tough, right? Even with our multiple shots to see and slow motion. This is the point of tunneling in MMA. That difficulty you feel is magnified by the fear of the power those strikes land with, which takes up even more brain power. Imagine if I redid this while standing behind you, and every time you got it wrong, I hit you in the head with a hammer. It would probably make it harder to guess, right? Now that we have that visceral example out of the way, let's talk about a specific strike further. The common strike to cite with Alex is his prodigious lead hook. But if I asked for you to tell me what makes it so incredible, you would probably say something like its power, or maybe even its speed and accuracy. That's only a fraction of the story. To really drill home why tunneling matters, let's take on the perspective of the opponent. Let's think of Alex's left hand straight from orthodox, or simply his jab. Alex throws his jab with fantastic technique. It is extremely linear, fast, and accurate. To defend the jab, his opponent will want to shell up with as little space open between the front of his high guard as possible. But importantly, this opens up space around the outside for a hook to land. Because of the tunneling or consistency of setup that Alex has, the opponent knows a strike is coming, but has to make a binary decision of what it is: hook or straight. If they choose right, they deflect the strike with minimal effect. If they choose wrong, they wake up in the ambulance with a headache. Now, a common question that comes up with fighters that I have worked with and talked to is the following: sure, but how do I do it? Today, dear viewer, let's answer simply, but also offer a fun glimpse into the future of MMA training to try and project years down the line. As far as the simple version, I think that fighters should be taping their sparring sessions and studying their tunneling after every session. Think of it this way: sparring is one of the most dangerous aspects of their training regimen. It is also highly necessary, though. So if you could squeeze extra value out of each session at no additional cost to your health, that would be pretty sweet, right? But what should they be looking for? I would recommend fighters do exactly what I did earlier. Cut up the tape so that you can watch each strike in slow motion and study deeply the setups and tells they may be giving away that will limit their tunneling skill and metaphorically tip their pitches to their opponent. With that in mind, let's take a deeper step and project to the future. Before UFC 285, I did a podcast with the incredible Alex Caravan of Driveline Baseball Company. Driveline is a company that pioneered a ton of the modern pitching development techniques that you can see on screen now. Driveline utilizes incredibly high frame rate cameras and motion capture technology to automate and improve the efficiency and quality of insights from that aforementioned sparring data. In their case, simulated pitching. I personally see it as only a matter of time before MMA gets its own version of Driveline. Facilities with ultra-high frame rate cameras combined with motion capture wearables during a sparring session to capture incredibly high amounts of structured, usable data that will make every fighter that trains there a bloodthirsty killer like Alex Pereira. Maybe not, but they can at least be efficient like him. But hey, why wait? The future is now, baby. Today's video is sponsored by Kayyo. If you have watched my past catalog of videos, you'll likely remember my VR idea to improve Dustin Poirier's defensive shell. Kayyo is an actual app that accomplishes the spirit of the hypothetical I offered in that video. Kayyo is a free-to-download app that mixes AR technology and machine learning to offer personalized striking advice to fans and fighters alike. By leveraging state-of-the-art computer vision models they developed in-house, they created the Punch Rush Challenge, allowing users to compete with friends to see who the fastest puncher is, and they will soon be releasing an analysis function to correct and analyze striking form. The app also uses Kit, an AI-powered audio coach that generates unlimited unique combat sport workouts for beginners and experts alike. It is truly the ultimate machine learning tool for anyone looking to improve their MMA skills. Kayyo recently launched their app. If you click the Linktree link in the description, they'll know MMA sent you. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Kayyo for the support. Apps like this are the future of combat training. Get in on the ground floor now before the tech passes us all by. Alright, I will be releasing a full Israel vs. Alex 2/4 breakdown on our Patreon if you want to hear my deeper thoughts on the matchup. That will be available for all patrons $5 and up. I also do scouting work for fighters if interested. Message me through Patreon or Instagram. Let me know in the comments what you think of the video and any videos you would like to see in the future.